So, I'm going to take a little drink first. Okay. Kierkegaard, we'll start off with something light. Kierkegaard said, people demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use.
Oh.
Wow.
Read that again?
So we all have love affairs.
Yes.
Yeah. Some are romantic. Others are love affairs with our home or our job or our friends or things like that. But we also have other love affairs, unfortunately. Some of those are with despair and loneliness and diseases of various types of the mind, body, and spirit. Now, those type of love affairs, probably don't usually call them that, they're habits. Like Caress was talking about, they're habits. They're habits that we learned, habits we acquired, we accepted, and sometimes they're habits we destructively hold on to. Mm-hmm. We don't want to let go of some of these habits. And sometimes we don't even realize they're there, right? They're just kind of there. They've been there for so long we don't even realize we have that. And I've had those kind of habits. I've had it with jobs. I've had it with parts of my love life. I've had it with eating habits. I've had it with some apartments that I stayed at much too long. And I have found that the causes of these habits usually are things like, and especially, lazy spiritual practices. I don't do enough of this. I don't do enough of that. Or sometimes it's a fear of success. Do you ever have that? Do you ever think about, why is this not happening? And then you're thinking about it, you contemplate, you realize, oh my gosh, I have a fear of that's going to really happen. Because that's going to change my life, and there's some things that I shouldn't be comfortable with, but I am. We have that fear. Sound familiar? Anything? So if we take heed to what Thomas Troward said, now Thomas Troward was one of the early New Thought people, and Dr. Holmes really liked Thomas Troward's work. It's very dry, it's very legalese, but it's very straightforward. Well, one of the things he says, and of course I'm paraphrasing, is we're here to be happy. That's it. That's our big job. In all those 4 books I think he wrote, we're here to be happy. But because we're here to be happy, those destructive habits, they're downright irresponsible of us to have, right? But it's our right. It's our right to have those negative experiences because we're born free to choose. Being a citizen of the U.S., we're given many freedoms, of course, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to move around. Being an individualization of the creative power, we have our birthright to have exactly what experiences we want in our lives, the way we declare and decree them. But too many times, we have wasted the infinite possibilities that are there for us in the universe. But it's our right. It's our right to have negative experiences. So if that's what you want, have at it. But I don't think that's what you want, yes? I think we deserve to move past the past. Yes? Mm-hmm. I think it's time that we divorce, dissolve, resign from, split away from, terminate, separate, vacate, abdicate, and just darn quit having these hassles in our lives. And that includes me. Can I hear an amen to that?
Amen, brother.
Maybe even a hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Don Miguel Ruiz said, now, this is very interesting. I saw his son speak a couple of months ago. You might have seen the picture I posted of him and I. And I was realizing, their first name is not Don. Don is like Sir or Mr. So Miguel Ruiz wrote in his book, The 4 Agreements, the freedom we seek is to use our own mind and body, to live our own life instead of the life of the belief system, meaning the greater belief system. When we discover that the mind is controlled by the judge and the victim, do you know what he means by that? Our personal internal judge and our personal and internal victim. Sometimes they talk to each other and have a nice little relationship. And the real us in the corner, we just have two choices. One choice is to keep living the way we are, to surrender to the judge and the victim, to just live our lives with, you're dumb, we don't do this in our family, blah, 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 blah. You're too tall, you're too short, you're too old, you're too young, not smart enough, didn't go to college, whatever. And the victim, oh, woe is me. Oh. The second choice is to do what we do as children when parents try to domesticate us. We can rebel and say no. We can declare a war against the parasite, meaning the judge and victim, a war against the judge and victim, a war for our independence, a war for the right to use our own mind and our own brain. Nobody likes the junk that we have rolling around in our head. I don't like the junk that rolls around in my head, but I have to choose. Do I want it to stay or do I want it to go? I have to choose in my belief system, in my thoughts and feelings. Do I want prizes in my life or do I want plunders in my life? I'll give you a moment to decide. Do you want prizes or plunders in your life?
Yeah, take a prize.
Yeah. Ralph Waldo Emerson said in his essay, History, there is one mind common to all individuals. Everyone is an inlet to the same and to all of the same. Once admitted to the right of reason, you are made a free man, person, of the whole estate. What Plato has thought, he may think. What a saint has felt, he may feel. What at any time has befallen any person, they can understand. Who hath access to this universal mind, and that's each and every one of us, is a party to all that is or can be done, for this is the only and sovereign agent. And that's us. We are the only sovereign agent of our lives. And we can follow Plato's lead, or we can follow some saint's lead, or we can follow the science of mind's lead, or we can follow the lead of the news, telling you to be scared, and to be negative, and to be fearful. We are responsible to declare our independence from lack, strife, any ideas that get in the way of our happiness. And when we receive, when we step into, when we reveal this independence, we shall infuse energy into our lives, vibrancy into our lives, love and health into our lives, into this building, into this center, this organization, this community, the state, the country, the world. I'm going to quote Peter Townsend when he said, I'm free, and freedom tastes of reality. I'm free, and I'm waiting for you to follow me. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to declare our freedom to ring in the truth, our freedom to ring in joy, our freedom to expect goodness and prosperity and vibrancy and vitality in our life. And so, here is our new thought, Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one person to dissolve the bands and bonds of struggle, strife, lack, and faithlessness, which has connected them with a life that does not serve their greatest good, and to assume among the power of the universe the separate station of prosperity to which the laws of nature entitle them. A decent respect to the opinion of one who speaks in truth requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to this separation. I hold this truth to be self-evident, that I am created equal, that I am endowed by my Creator, that which is within me, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and happiness. that to secure these rights in my life, the beliefs are instituted by me, deriving their just powers from the consent of my mind and the law of cause and effect. That whenever any form of my beliefs become destructive of these ends, it is the right of me to alter or to abolish it and to institute new thoughts, new feelings, new perspectives, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect my safety and happiness. Prudence indeed would dictate that beliefs long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience has shown that many times I am more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right myself by abolishing the beliefs to which I am accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce me under absolute or partial lack, it is my right, it is my duty to throw off such beliefs and to provide new thoughts and feelings, new perspectives and beliefs for my future security and happiness. Such has been my patient sufferance, and such is now the necessity which constrains me to alter my thinking and my beliefs. Part of the history of my present beliefs is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over my happiness. And so, I now declare with full knowledge and embodying the one power within, that one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause, with that spirit expressing through me, which is the unity of all life, I claim and swear to use my creative thoughts to think from that eternal goodness, that eternal loving kindness, and that eternal givingness of divine intelligence, to act, be, and surround myself with love, abundance, vitality, and vibrancy, to think, reason, and live without the bondage of any negativity from my past, without the consciousness of no, or the shoulda, woulda, coulda of not yet, without the fear of a future I get to create, without water cooler gossip or the news or opinions running around in my head, or any government or religion that may be running around in my head like a rat in a cage, like squirrels in a whirling dervish, like chattering monkeys invading my consciousness. I therefore do, in the name and by the authority of my birthright, as an individualization of the source and substance of all, solemnly publish and declare and decree, I am that I am, and of right ought to be free and independent of destructive thoughts and beliefs, and that I am is absolved from all allegiance to negativity, and that all connection between me and the state of lack and limitation is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as a free and independent personalization of God, I engage my full power to levy peace, prosperity, and love in my life from this day forward. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection and power of the divine intelligence within, I pledge my life and sacred honor.
Woo! Yeah.
So now, what I want you to do is put your hands in the air like you're going to sign something. And I want us to sign our signatures in the air, committing ourselves to this declaration of freedom for not only ourselves, but the betterment of the world. So as you sign your name in the air, repeat after me. I declare my independence from that which no longer
serves my greatest good.
I declare my independence from that which no longer serves my good. You've done it. You've there. God bless you. And God bless America.
Yay!